I've been here during non-conflict times, and it's, it obviously there are the restraints. People aren't allowed to move. There's, a lot of people crowded into a very small space, but in general, there was restaurants open, the beach was nice, you could go and drink a coffee in town. Everyone was, people were going to work, we had supplies. This time is very different. Even in 2021, when I was here for the 1 month conflict, because it didn't last so long and it was much less intense, but now this has been going on 20 months. It's incredibly intense bombardment. I've never seen so much devastation in terms of the infrastructure, the buildings, and neither have I seen in all the conflict zones I've worked in so many people injured from blast injury, which is what happens when you drop high explosives in a highly densely populated urban environment. Especially, the majority of the patients I operate on are women and children. On top of that, now we have the effects of the blockade, which mean that we're running out of supplies, not just medical, but the food supplies. People are absolutely malnourished. A lot of patients are looking emaciated. A lot of the staff are looking extremely skinny. It's a great psychological stressor to be hungry all the time, and it's very dangerous to go out and try and get food, because out in the streets you never know where might be attacked, and we know that on more than one occasion food distribution points have also been attacked. For me, and I think for most of my colleagues, the most distressing of everything is when we have to deal with wounded children, of which there are huge numbers. I've just come for an operation repairing one of the main nerves in the arm of a child who has also multiple other injuries and who lost almost his entire family. My colleague is just working in another theatre on a young girl, 11 years old, that already had an above-knee amputation on one side, and now we've just had to do an above-knee amputation on the other side. She's 11 years old. The number of children I've seen with extremely devastating injuries, which will affect them for the rest of their lives, is there's just no words to explain it, really. How this can be happening in the 21st century. It's a very small strip of land, 35 miles by 8 miles. So it's a small strip of land with 2 million people crammed into it. A lot of it is a built up urban area. So once you start bombing an area like that, the amount of damage and destruction is going to be enormous, not just to the buildings, but as I say, to the people that are very densely populated within there. In addition to that, there's nowhere for people to go. Yes, Ukraine is a terrible war as well, but Ukraine is 2,500 miles across. It's a huge country, and there's many areas that are not directly affected at any one time. Many other countries, there are pockets of war within the whole country, but not all over it. Whereas here, it is everywhere. There is nowhere safe. Even the so-called protected zones are clearly not safe. And there's nowhere for people to go. They are locked in. They cannot get out. There's no border they can just cross to escape to another country. So when you add all those things together, it is a situation that is infinitely worse than other current conflicts going on. Although, obviously, an injured child or an adult anywhere needs treatment, needs compassionate care, needs the best that's possible. But here is undoubtedly particularly bad and the worst I've certainly seen in my lifetime. The world is failing. The world is failing on a moral level, on an ethical level, and on a practical level. The fact that this has been going on for so long now, and the fact that it appears that there is very little that the global leadership are able to do to address this situation, not with words but with action, to bring it to a stop. And it needs to come to a stop. When we hear the rhetoric that is coming out at the moment, it is utterly appalling, some of the language that is being used. The way the Palestinians here are being described is completely unacceptable. and the rest of the world need to do something about it, because they will be judged in the future. History will look back at this and they will be judged, and questions will be asked. How was this allowed to happen? How was this allowed to happen?